Hi there, my name is Sarah Skrocki. I live in Richmond, Virginia, and I work for Capital One, which is one of the biggest employers in Richmond. I am an HR manager at Capital One, and I support a program called the TDP, which stands for Technology Development Program. And essentially what that is, it is a 2-year rotation program for entry-level software engineers to come to Capital One and try out a couple of different jobs across their 2-year experience. They get to learn a bunch of different skills. They get to have a couple of different managers, and I oversee a team of individuals at Capital One that facilitates that program. So we help with everything from onboarding and making sure that they have a smooth experience once they get on campus, all the way through their training and development, and helping them find those next steps after the rotation program is over. I am originally from the Northern Virginia area, so my family is from Reston, Virginia. I went to Virginia Tech, so go Hokies. I studied communications and marketing, and always thought I wanted to get into events and event management. And once I graduated from Virginia Tech, I moved up to Washington, D.C., where I lived for 7 years. I started as an entry-level sales associate, actually, as my first job at a company called EAB, which stands for Education Advisory Board. And essentially, I was in charge of cold calling universities and colleges and talking to them about enrollment services and how they could both hit their numbers as well as make their universities attractive to students. And I did that role for about a year, learned a lot about myself. Cold calling is not easy, but learned some valuable lessons as it comes to goal setting and being able to work in a team as well as communication. And I actually stayed with that company for about 7 years. At first, I was managing a team of sales associates, and then by the time I left that organization, I was managing a team of managers. So like I said, it was a great organization. I learned a lot about goal setting and making sure that we were problem solving. And the reason that I got into that position was really because I was thinking about mentoring, and I really had a knack for teaching and helping others. So as I was an associate, I would always help my peers in trying different scripts and different ways that they could phrase information and tweak their email so that they could get better responses. And as a manager, that's what I was responsible for doing. So helping to troubleshoot problems, helping to make sure that my associates had everything that they needed to be successful. And after about 7 years up in DC, I decided that I was ready for a change of pace. And I actually heard about a job down in Richmond, Virginia, which was not too far from DC. And it was working with the Chamber of Commerce in Richmond on leadership programming for young professionals. So in case you haven't seen the theme thus far across my career, certainly working with young professionals and helping them both acclimate to job and life post-college and figuring out how to make sure that they're most successful and guide them along their careers. At the Chamber, I was responsible for a number of different initiatives and both attracting talent to the Richmond region, so sort of serving as a liaison between colleges and universities, as well as the employers in Richmond, who were saying, we'd love to hire students, and the students saying, well, we'd consider moving to Richmond, but we don't know of any jobs that are available. So serving as the connection point for that, as well as trying to build the community of young professionals in Richmond once students actually arrived. So helping to connect them to speakers, helping to connect them to cool institutions that are opening in Richmond, and generally just trying to expose all of the great things that Richmond has to offer. Really enjoyed my work there and was sort of craving after 2 or 3 years going back to a larger company, and really craved that like large company feeling. So I applied to a number of roles at Capital One and ended up in my HR team. So as I mentioned, I've been there for about 6 months and I am loving it. In terms of what got me here to where I am today, I would definitely say that, graduating with a degree in marketing, I felt overwhelmed and nervous because there are a lot of different roads and paths that you can take. And I was nervous that when I was applying for jobs after I first graduated, that I was going to silo myself and go down the PR route or the marketing route or the sales route and never be able to turn back. And I think the thing that I learned was each job and activity and organization that I worked with taught me different skills, different life lessons. Some of those institutions and periods at each role taught me things that I really love and that I want to continue doing. They taught me things that I was really good at. And it also told me a lot about the things that maybe I didn't love or that I wanted to make sure that weren't present in future roles. So, I would say my advice is that no role is perfect and no job is perfect. There are certainly going to be things that you love one day and certain things that, you have on your to-do list to get done, but aren't feeling super excited about doing them. And it's all about balance, and it's about being supported by your organization, actually enjoying coming to work and feeling like you're adding value, and seeing personal growth. So making sure that you can see yourself at your company long term and seeing yourself working there for an extended period of time. One of the biggest things that motivates me is being able to help others and be their go-to resource if they're having a problem that they don't know how to solve, if they're needing help, guidance, or feedback on an initiative that they're working on, or if they just need advice about how to handle specific situations. In terms of why I chose to make the Richmond community my home, I was looking, as I mentioned, for a change of pace. And I had friends from Virginia Tech that already lived in Richmond, so I had visited a couple of times. And honestly, I chose Richmond because of the job opportunity. So I got an offer to work at the Chamber of Commerce, working with the leadership programs there. And it was the dream job for me at the time. And it was everything that I had wanted in a next step as a role. And I knew that having sort of that dream job was going to be the number one thing that was important to me at that point in my life. So I took the job and moved down to Richmond. And the reason that I've stayed in Richmond for almost 3 years is definitely because it's such an attainable place to live. And I mean that from the ease that I had of making friends and the friendliness in general of everyone. I was so used to, the hustle and bustle of Washington, D.C., and things just I was able to take a sigh of relief here in Richmond. So that has certainly been a great change of pace. Things are definitely less expensive than they were in DC as well, which has been really awesome because I am saving up to hopefully buy a house in the near future. And I've been able to achieve a lot more of my goals in relation to that here in Richmond rather than in DC. And then on top of that, it's just been such a fun place to live. So there's so much going on. I was kind of nervous that it was going to be a small city and that I wasn't going to find things to do. But in fact, I find myself busier in Richmond than I ever was in DC, mostly because, as I mentioned, people are friendly and so they want to be hanging out and doing things. But secondly, it's less expensive and easier to kind of get around in Richmond. So people are more willing to make plans. And that is definitely one of the things that I love about living in Richmond.